Hello guys, call out is one of the exercises that the handlers often forgot to train at home, especially if they have done some foundation already for the puppy. Then later on, when they start to practice it with the helper, handlers kind of forget to practice that without the helper as well. So always remember to support your protection training at home, do those secondary obedience exercises at home, and call out is one very important one of those.
Are there any main points when somebody's doing it at home with regards to how challenging to make it?
Yeah, typically the people, they do it pretty well technically. So the first step always for the call out is of course that in a basic obedience the dog understands the basic position and also understands the finish before you can start your call out training. And once you start your call out training, you have to make sure that the drive is low, the dog is in the low drive, so it's easy for the dog to come to the basic position. So try to always make it as easy as possible at first, but eventually you have to challenge your dog. So you have to go to the higher drive, because that's super important that you prepare your dog to that challenge when you do that with the helper.
So starting out easy, but being sure to kind of up the difficulty so that it actually transfers into more difficult situations.
Exactly, that's what typically the handlers, they forget in all the obedience exercises in protection, that they don't challenge their dog enough, they don't make it in the situation without the helper, that it's harder for the dog to actually do. But when the dog has that picture in your home trainings, it will be much more easy with the helper.
Yeah, so instead of going to your helper and spending the session on call outs, it's maybe something you have to do a little bit, but you don't really have to work super hard on it because the dog already knows it really well.
Exactly, yes.
Good.
So then you have all the tools already with the helper. And also when you start it with the helper, don't start it in most difficult situation. Instead of doing from the park and hold, it's better to do, for example, that the dog is sitting distance from the helper, let's say 15 feet from the helper, and the dog is sitting there, and then you call the dog from that position instead of the dog is barking in front of the helper, what can make it super difficult to start it from there, because the dog is so into the barking and they want to stay there and they are powerful. So it's important to start it in the situation where it's just obedience.
So the dog might be in a casual lay down command or a sit, and then the handler walks behind.
Exactly.
And calls the dog out while they're not in a bark and hold.
Exactly. Just remember that don't do too much sit from the down, because the dog can make the connection with the escape when you leave your dog. So the sit can be better. But if you are not worried about that and you don't have to do it too many times, you can do it from the down as well. But if you have to repeat it a lot with the helper, then it's better to leave the dog to sit and do that from the sit.
Cool. Okay, well, we're going to get started with our demo dog, and a couple words about him. He's somewhere in between his knowledge, so he's been off for quite a while, but he has had a lot of obedience training, so in general he's a lot more responsive. So we'll start off with food, and as Marco said, the dog needs to understand a finish first. So however you want the dog to finish from the call out, whether that's behind you or doing a flip, they need to understand that from just a front position. So they have to have that knowledge before you do a call out. So refresh that. If you haven't done it in a while, make sure you refresh the finish first before you get started on what we're going to show you. So we're going to start with food. I'm going to call him away from the food that Marco's going to have, and then I'm going to be rewarding him with food as well. Then once I see that he's clear with that, we'll move to kind of a small toy. Again, the distraction toy, and then I'll be rewarding him with something similar. And then finally, we're going to use this to distract him and also to reward him back to the pillow, which is a higher value toy because he associates it with protection. So there's you go. I'll go get Esco. So the first thing we're going to do is just refresh his knowledge of the finish. But, wow, super! You're so smart. You're so smart. The next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask him to do it from a distance, just from a casual lay down. So lay down. Here, foot. Yep. Good. So at first when I'm doing it, I have food in my helper hand, which I toss as he comes to the correct location. And then from there, I don't do that anymore. I still have the food, I don't use it if possible, or I use it if I think he needs it. And then from there, I just go to just the hand help without food in that hand. Stay down. Here, foot. Here, foot. Good, that's it, buddy. Now, during this portion, I'm not so concerned that he's really perfect in that finish. I just want to show him the picture of approaching me and doing the finish from there, since he's never seen that picture before. Stay down. So I have my reward ready here, and I'm also helping him by luring him behind me. Here, foot. There you go. Good boy, look. Oh, what a super dog. What a super boy. Come here. Let's do it again. Stay. Here, foot. That's the way! Such a boy. So now I'm not gonna have food in this lure hand, but I'm still gonna help him. Here, foot. Yes! Oh, you're so super! Remember, when you're rewarding, try to praise first and then give the reward after. So ideally, your dog can do that from just a casual lay down in front of you without the help before you go on to more difficult scenarios. So your reward placement, it doesn't really, as long as it's supportive of where your dog's position is, I'm just tucking some food under my arm and popping because it's easier and I can do it in a pretty timely fashion, but you can do however you normally reward from finishes, you can reward in that way. Here, foot. That's the way, look. Oh, what a boy. Come. So as we go forward, I'm using less and less help. Here, foot. Atta boy, look. So now, because we are increasing the difficulty, I'm going to go back to rewarding that immediate response. And that allows me to reward him right after I give that leash pop. Here, foot. Yes, good boy. Good. What a dog. Okay. Here, foot. Here, foot. Good boy. That's the way. Good job. Here, foot. That's it. Yes. Good job. Yeah.
That was perfect timing.
Yeah, that was good. Here, foot. That's the way. Get it. Good boy. Here, foot. Yes, good boy. Super. Here, foot. Here, foot. Good. Such a boy. Here, foot. Here, foot. Foot. Good. Yeah, look. Yep, that's it. Good job. Here, foot. Here. There's a boy. Good. Here, foot. Good boy. That's it, buddy. Good job. Good job. Here, foot. Good. Chip, that's the way. Good job.
Done. Done.
Here, foot. Get it. Yeah, good boy. What a dog. What a good dog. Yes, you are. Here, foot. Are you ready? Get it. Yeah. Super. Oh, yeah. What a boy. Here, foot. Good. That's the way. Here, foot. Good. Get it. Attaboy. What a good dog. What a good dog. Here, foot. Chip. Good boy. Good boy. Here, foot. Chip. That's the way. Oh. Stay. Stay. Here, foot. Chip. Good. Good boy. Okay, so hopefully you got some really good ideas for how to start your call-out training or how to continue with it and make it more difficult. Just want to say that this is not the only situation that you can practice. It's a great idea to practice it in your house. So somebody rings the doorbell, let your dog run to the door, do a call-out from there, or do it while you're walking them down the street and they're interested in another dog. Barking at the fence, do a call out from there. So try to do it in as many situations as you can and get it to the point where you don't need to use any help before you do it with your helper. And of course, always make sure you've got rewards on you to do that with. Now, one last thing, while we did do all of this in one day, we kind of condensed this. So this really should have been done over the course of a couple weeks. So you don't need to go through that progression in the way that we did in just this short time. You are going to want to space that out, maybe work on food for 4 or 5 days, get that really good and move to a toy and so on and so forth. All right, guys, have a great day.